the coronavirus. Hey beautiful people, so these are pretty scary times, huh? Your life probably looks very different now than it did just 1 month ago. When our daily lives are being shaken like they are right now, it feels like we're all just trying to adapt to the changes the best we can. The way we cope with these challenges can, however, tell us a few things about social life. And since this channel is about social life, it seems fitting that we explore what the corona crisis reveals about it. If you're new to this channel, then hey, my name is Kirstine. If you fancy yourself weekly videos about social sciences, design research, and design thinking, then clickety-click that subscribe button. Okay, let's take a look at the first thing that's extra amplified during these times.
I would like to begin by announcing some important developments in our war against the Chinese virus.
And I'm not referring to Trump's complete incompetence to run a country, though that is as obvious as ever. I'm referring to the intensified racism and xenophobia against Asians. This is by no means a new phenomenon, but it is intensified at the moment, and the number of hate crimes and discrimination against Asians is skyrocketing. We see this racism exercised in various ways, and each of these is at the same time an expression of racism and the cultivation of it.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
Beside Donald Trump's statements that falsely link the spread of COVID-19 to Chinese people, we also see people asking Asians to move in public places, people assaulting Asians, news articles about COVID-19 using totally unrelated images of Asian people, Danish comedians expressing the need to punch a Chinese person, and people texting Asians blaming them for bringing the virus overseas. There are so many important aspects of this issue, so I recommend you go check out the various content I linked to in the description that is by or with Asians and not coming from white people like myself. Have you heard someone say that the coronavirus doesn't discriminate? I've heard it a few times and honestly briefly also thought it myself, but then I thought twice. The notion that the virus doesn't discriminate translates into the idea that we are all in the same boat. But are we really in the same boat? If we were in the same boat, then this would not be happening while this is happening. If we were in the same boat, then this.
Hey guys, day 6 in self-quarantine, and I gotta say that these past few days got me feeling a bit philosophical. You know, this virus had affected the entire world, everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, we're all in this together. And I ran into this video of this Italian guy playing the trumpet in his balcony to all the other people who were locked inside their homes. And he was playing Imagine, and there was something so powerful and pure about this video. And it goes like this. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
No hell below us.
Above us only sky.
Imagine all the people
living for today.
Would be a fun little uplifting video, but instead it sparked the rightful debate about privilege in the time of a pandemic. So if you don't know about that little video, it's the Wonder Woman actress Gal Gadot who reached out to some of her famous friends and said, hey Hey, do you want to be a part of this video where we all sing a line from a totally unrelated to the circumstances war song about imagining there is no heaven in a time where people are dying in a pandemic? And some of her famous friends said, yeah, that sounds awesome. Could you maybe do a little speech in the beginning where you showcase that you are blind to our privilege? That would be really awesome. Okay, it probably didn't go down like that, and I'm not trying to come for any of these, I'm sure, lovely people with good intentions. But how come it feels a little bit off that rich celebrities are singing a peace song meant to make us all feel a little bit better during a pandemic? Maybe because these people, given their fame and their resources, are in a different position than us mere mortals. And we don't relate to them like we relate to our friends, our neighbors, or even strangers shopping in our local grocery store. In fact, if we saw a celebrity in our local grocery store, we would probably look twice and to varying degrees feel a little bit besides ourselves. Well, unless you live in a place where you're the odd one out for not being famous. So that these idealized celebrities are trying to relate to us just feels a little bit off, because we know that these people are not dealing with some of the issues that us plebeians are going through. And of course, everything is relative. Even though I'm not rich and famous, I'm pretty comfortable given the circumstances. I have access to running water, so I can practice the prevention methods that's recommended. I'm not at risk for losing my job, so I'm not worried about paying my bills. And I live in an emotionally and physically safe household, so I'm not going through intensified abuse that I can't escape from. However, not everyone is in circumstances like these. Circumstances that are in themselves vital for being able to protect yourself from getting infected. So to come back to the start of this section, the virus does discriminate. It discriminates because our resources and access to physical and economic safety are different. Now, of course, Gal Gadot and the other famous people had good intentions with the video. However, it serves as a clear example that even in circumstances that affect us all, the consequences still follow inequality structures. And the corona crisis basically just highlights the expanding wealth gap and consequently also health gap between rich and poor. Moving on to a less serious topic. Quite literally, because the corona crisis also reveals that us humans use humor to get a little relief. Personally, these ones make me giggle. Skal bare lige have And it sure does feel good to laugh, especially in uncertain times like these. So even though there's nothing funny about the times we're going through right now, making and sharing funny content can make us feel a little less scared because it distances us from the subjects that scare us. In other words, it's a coping mechanism we use to feel a little bit better about the situation. Rich celebrities. Blink, 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 blink. Using humor is also a way to connect with people. It is something we share between us, and even though you might be like me and laugh at your own jokes to yourself, it is just more fun to share that joke and that laughter with someone else. That's because we feel a connection with people who laugh at the same things as we do. And in these times, as much as we need to be physically apart, we need to be emotionally close. And humor provides that feeling of closeness. Now, that doesn't mean that every COVID-19 joke is funny or appropriate. Last week's April Fool's Day even sparked the conversation if any April Fool's joke is appropriate in these times. We saw Google stating that they would not be making any April Fool's joke, coronavirus related or not, in respect to the people fighting COVID-19. Additionally, the governments of Thailand, Taiwan, and India have warned against COVID-19 pranks and misinformation, and the penalties for violating these warnings could be fines or jail time. And that tells us that humor is a tricky little bastard because it's the context that determines what and when something is funny, and because the context constantly changes, humor does too. This was just a small selection of social phenomena that the corona crisis reveals. There'll be more examples in next week's video. If you like this kind of content, there's a magic subscribe button and a powerful like button right there that'll make more videos like this show up in your feed in the future. No joke. Next social aspect of the coronavirus. Irish. Irish. Famous contacts. Famous contacts. Contacts. Famous friends. Yeah.